Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome back to all of our focus learners out there. Today, we're unpacking something that absolutely every creator, communicator, and storyteller needs to understand. We are going to explore a highly structured, timestamp-based blueprint for mastering storytelling and ultimately audience retention. If you've ever wondered exactly how top-tier creators keep you absolutely glued to your screen from the very first second to the last, well, you're in the right place. We're going to decode the exact timeline for a perfect 10-minute explainer.
But first, let's address the elephant in the room. Why do viewers leave your content in the first place? We've literally all been there. You create something you think is brilliant, but the audience just clicks away. It's a universal, high-stakes problem, right? Well, the source material we're analyzing today tackles this head-on. It argues that losing your audience isn't just some stroke of bad luck. It's actually a fundamental structural failure. So we're setting up a bit of an open loop right now. By the climax of this explainer, you're going to know exactly how to plug those leaks and keep your audience captivated until the very last second. So, here is our master blueprint for the next 10 minutes, starting with the hook at 0, moving through the setup at 1:30, plunging into the deep dive at 4 minutes, hitting the climax at 7, and wrapping up with a seamless loop CTA at 9.
Section 1, the hook and setup, those critical first 90 seconds.
Our source makes a pretty definitive claim here. You have exactly 3 to 5 seconds to give your audience a compelling reason to stay. Just think about how fast you scroll on your phone. If you don't instantly provide a reason to watch, they're gone. Do not give them a boring chronological context dump that just puts people to sleep. Instead, you've got to instantly introduce a major problem, raise a massive question, establish the stakes right away. Why does this matter to the viewer or to the world? You are essentially planting a mystery that will only be solved at the very end of the explainer.
Now, what's really interesting is this exact voiceover formula provided in the blueprint. Get this, most people think common belief, but they are completely wrong. In fact, what happened in year/place changed everything we knew about topic, and the ending will completely shock you. Notice how that instantly challenges an assumption, it introduces specific data, and creates an immediate open loop. The source also notes that you should pair this with fast-paced cuts, a high-stakes visual question, or even a shocking statement to generate instant intrigue.
But hey, getting them to stay past that initial hook is literally only step 1. You also have to follow the strict rule of 30. According to our source material, you must execute a pattern interrupt every 30 seconds to prevent viewer boredom. What is a pattern interrupt, you ask? It could be a visual change, a sound effect, or a sudden zoom-in. Human attention spans require regular resets. Think of it like hitting refresh on a lagging browser. Injecting a deliberate shift every half minute is the mechanical secret to maintaining that early engagement during the setup phase.
Act 1, the core conflict. It's time to introduce the twist.
We're now transitioning from that 1 minute and 30-second mark up to the 4-minute mark. The initial mystery you set up is beginning to deepen. Now that you've earned a bit of their trust, you peel back the layers. First, open the story layer. Second, hit them with the first major twist early. Don't hoard your best secrets for the end. And third, keep your sentences short. Long, meandering paragraphs absolutely kill momentum. Short, punchy sentences keep the brain engaged and the pace brisk.
To keep that brisk pace going, the source explicitly recommends using specific suspense phrases. Say things like, "But here's the catch. That's when things got weird," or "Nobody expected this." By dropping these short phrases into the narrative, you're constantly signaling to the audience that the ground is shifting beneath their feet. It creates this conversational tension that practically pulls them forward into the next segment.
Act 2, the deep dive. Welcome to the high-energy zone.
Spanning from minute 4 to minute 7, this is honestly the most dangerous part of our timeline. We've arrived at the critical turning point of the entire structure. Why does it need to be high energy? Because you need a literal shot of adrenaline to survive the heavy details. Deploy stunning B-roll footage to completely change the visual landscape. Drop a well-timed meme reference if it fits the vibe, or just crank up the cinematic music. You're essentially using production value to ensure their eyes don't glaze over as we plunge into the real substance.
And there's a very specific mathematically proven reason for this adrenaline shot right at this moment. The 4-minute mark is notorious. Our source identifies this exact time marker as the ultimate drop-off zone. Seriously, if you look at audience retention graphs across platforms, it looks like a cliff. This is precisely where audiences usually abandon content. They feel they've gotten the gist of the topic, and they just decide to leave before the payoff. Your job is to stop them dead in their tracks right at minute 4.
So the crucial point is, how do you actually survive this drop-off? You introduce the turning point. You must present a brand new secret or a major new obstacle exactly when their attention is flagging. And you don't just state it, you back it up immediately with data. Show quick facts, display a graph, or bring in an expert quote. By grounding a brand new, unexpected problem in hard evidence, you completely reboot the audience's attention span and carry them safely through the rest of the deep dive.
Next up, climax and resolution. Time for the big reveal.
If you successfully navigate that drop-off zone, you're rewarded by reaching the 7 to 9 minute mark. This is the ultimate payoff they've been waiting for since you opened that very first loop in the first 90 seconds. The mystery you constructed is finally solved. The main problem introduced during the setup finds its solution, and the definitive conclusion is presented. You really have to tie everything together so neatly here that the viewer feels their time was incredibly well spent.
But listen, a successful climax isn't just about delivering facts. You need an emotional payoff. You have to leave the audience with a strong takeaway or a profound realization. It's not just about what they learned, it's about how it changes their perspective. If they reach minute 9 and say to themselves, "Wow, I never thought of it that way," you have successfully executed the climax.
Finally, the outro and loop call to action, creating a seamless transition.
We are now in the final minute, and the source material includes a stark warning here. Audiences, particularly US audiences, despise drawn-out endings. The exact second they sense you're wrapping up the explainer, they vanish, which absolutely tanks your overall metrics. So you have to abandon the outdated method of asking viewers to like and subscribe while slow music plays. That is just a giant signal to leave. Instead, use a seamless loop. Deliver a fast, 10-second wrap-up line like, "If you thought that was crazy, you need to watch this right here where I explain." You're funneling their peak interest directly into your next piece of content, creating an endless loop of retention.
Which brings us to the most important question for you to answer today. Are you building open loops and engineering emotional payoffs in your content, or are you just giving them a reason to click away at the 4-minute mark? The master blueprint is right in front of you. Now, if you found this breakdown of audience psychology fascinating, you will absolutely want to see how these exact same psychological triggers are used to design the interfaces of the apps you use every single day. Jump right into our next explainer to see exactly how they do it.